The 2000s were a transformative time for cinema, with big-budget blockbusters and epic franchises ruling the box office. But in the shadow of these mega-hits, a treasure chest of underrated gems slipped under the radar, waiting to be rediscovered. From quirky comedies to poignant dramas and mind-bending thrillers, this decade had more to offer than we gave it credit for. Stick around for this countdown. You'll probably stumble upon some forgotten favorites that will leave you questioning how they slipped through the cracks. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Darren Aronofsky's The Fountain is a film that doesn't just need to be watched, it needs to be experienced. A visually stunning and emotionally intense meditation on love, death, and the passage of time, this film had a hard time finding an audience amidst the noisy blockbusters of 2006. Hugh Jackman plays 3 different versions of a character across different timelines, from a conquistador searching for the fountain of youth in 16th century Spain, to a scientist racing against time to cure his dying wife, Rachel Weisz, and finally, in a future space journey. The film's non-linear narrative and surreal imagery left many scratching their heads at the time, but those who embraced it found a masterpiece that blends spirituality, science, and a deep exploration of grief. The Fountain doesn't just demand your attention, it demands your patience and your heart. A visual symphony, it's a deeply personal film, and if you give it the emotional investment it asks for, you'll be rewarded in ways few other films can offer. While In Bruges eventually earned its cult status, it wasn't immediately appreciated as the black comedy masterpiece it is. Directed by Martin McDonagh and starring Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, and Ralph Fiennes, the film follows 2 hitmen hiding out in the picturesque city of Bruges, Belgium, after a botched job. The film seamlessly blends dark humor with moments of poignancy, as the characters grapple with guilt, redemption, and the absurdity of life. In Bruges is witty, clever, and deeply human, but its genre-bending nature made it hard to classify at the time of its release. It's only with time that audiences have come to recognize it as one of the sharpest and most unique films of the 2000s. Danny Boyle's Sunshine is a space thriller that combines high-concept science fiction with existential dread. Set in the near future, the film follows a crew of astronauts on a mission to reignite the dying sun with a massive bomb. However, as they approach their goal, they encounter a series of disasters that force them to confront not only the vastness of space but also the psychological strain of their mission. The film was often compared to 2001, A Space Odyssey, but it's far more personal, focusing on the characters and their emotional journey rather than just the science. The atmospheric tension, visual effects, and soundtrack, courtesy of John Murphy, create a haunting, immersive experience. While it didn't make the same cultural impact as other films of its time, Sunshine is a slow-burn, mind-bending thriller that deserves a much bigger audience. Tarsem Singh's The Fall is a film that will either captivate you completely or leave you utterly confused, and that's the beauty of it. It's a visual feast, painted in vibrant colors and shot in breathtaking locations around the world, where every frame looks like it's straight out of a dream. Set in a Los Angeles hospital in the 1920s, an injured stuntman, Lee Pace, spins an elaborate fantasy for a young immigrant girl, Katinka Untaru, weaving a tale of epic adventure. The narrative is simple, but the real magic lies in the storytelling technique itself, which feels like a fluid blend of imagination and reality. The film was criminally overlooked, despite its stunning visuals and moving performances. The way it challenges the boundaries between fiction and reality will make you second-guess what's unfolding. The Fall is a rare combination of fantasy and art, deserving of far more recognition than it received. Rian Johnson's Brick might have been overshadowed by the glitzy world of superhero and action blockbusters, but this film holds a special place in the hearts of neo-noir fans. Starring a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, this is a high school mystery with a twist. Set in the halls of a Southern California high school, Gordon-Levitt plays Brendan, a student who delves into the seedy underworld of teenagers after his ex-girlfriend goes missing. The dialogue is snappy, the pacing is razor-sharp, and it never loses that hard-boiled detective feel, even though the characters are all teenagers. Brick is both a love letter to classic noir films and a brilliant subversion of the genre. It wasn't widely appreciated when it first released, but its cult following has grown significantly over time, proving that some films need time to resonate. Alfonso Cuarón's Children of Men is a dystopian film that is as terrifying as it is thought-provoking. In a world where humans have lost the ability to reproduce, society has crumbled into chaos. Clive Owen plays Theo, a disillusioned man who becomes embroiled in the mission to protect a miraculous pregnant woman. The film is an extraordinary feat of direction, especially with its unbroken, tension-filled long takes, and its portrayal of a world teetering on the brink of collapse feels all too real. Critics initially didn't know what to make of it, but with time, Children of Men has become recognized as one of the best science fiction films of the 2000s. It's a film that not only delivers thrilling action but also asks profound questions about humanity, faith, and survival. A true masterpiece that was underappreciated in its time. Christopher Nolan's The Prestige is a film about magic, deception, and obsession, but don't be fooled, it's not just about the tricks. Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman star as two magicians locked in a bitter rivalry that goes beyond their performances. The movie is layered with twists and turns that will keep you guessing, and its exploration of ambition and sacrifice resonates long after the final act. At the time, it was somewhat overshadowed by the success of other films, but The Prestige is a masterpiece in its own right. The film keeps you on your toes and rewards repeat viewings with its hidden details and subtle storytelling. The way Nolan plays with time, perspective, and narrative structure is a testament to his genius, and The Prestige remains one of the best films of the decade, even if it didn't always get the credit it deserved. This film, directed by Andrew Dominik, is a slow-burn western that dives deep into the psyche of its characters, with Brad Pitt playing the legendary Jesse James and Casey Affleck portraying the man who kills him, Robert Ford. The film's deliberate pacing and meditative tone may have turned off some viewers expecting a traditional western, but it's precisely what makes this film stand out. The Assassination of Jesse James is a dark and moody examination of fame, betrayal, and identity. The cinematography by Roger Deakins is breathtaking, and the performances are some of the best of the decade. Despite its critical acclaim, the film was largely ignored by mainstream audiences, making it one of the most underrated films of the 2000s. Richard Linklater's A Scanner Darkly is an animated dystopian film that feels like an acid trip through a paranoid, fractured future. Starring Keanu Reeves, Robert Downey Jr., and Winona Ryder, the film is based on Philip K. Dick's novel and delves into themes of surveillance, drug addiction, and the loss of identity. Using rotoscoping animation, Linklater creates a haunting, dreamlike world where reality and illusion blur. The film was too ahead of its time for most viewers, and the unique animation style, while captivating, made it hard to market to a mainstream audience. However, for those who are willing to take the plunge, A Scanner Darkly is a fascinating, trippy experience that explores the human condition in a way few films of the decade dared to. Scott Frank's The Lookout is a crime thriller that never quite got the attention it deserved. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Chris Pratt, not that one. He is a young man who suffers from brain damage after a car accident. Now working as a janitor in a small-town bank, Chris is drawn into a robbery plot by a group of criminals. What makes The Lookout stand out is its focus on character development. Chris isn't just the hero of the story, he's deeply flawed and struggling with his own demons. The film is as much about his internal struggle as it is about the heist, and the performances, especially Gordon-Levitt's, elevate it beyond a simple crime drama. The movie was terribly underseen upon release, but it's a compelling, character-driven thriller that's well worth revisiting. What do you think? Did we miss any hidden gems from the 2000s? Let me know your underrated favorites in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the films you might have missed.